Guys, welcome to part 7 of our Subaru car techniques video build series. Today we're going to be clear coating the Subaru. Now, some safety precautions. We're going to be using 2K clear from ProScale, so there are some safety precautions to abide by. So number one, we're going to keep all our arms covered. I have these full length gloves. I've also got our respirator, which is a 3M 6000 unit with the appropriate filters on. So we've got the full length arm gloves. It basically looks like I'm going to be giving birth to a cow, but I'm not. I bought them for 3D printing and never used them. They are ideal for this. I'm double gloved on that left hand with nitrile gloves and single gloved on the right. I'll explain why I'm double gloved on the left later. I've got my bench vent extractor on. I've got my respirator on, which is full face. That keeps my eyes covered. We've got our 2K clear from ProScale. I've got my plastic storage box on the left, which I'll show you in a second. We've got several pipettes, 3 in total. We've got 3 medicine cups. They are medical grade ones, don't use cheap ones. We've got a strainer from ProScale as well. We've got our Tamiya anti-static brush. We've got our box as well. This is a really useful box. It's the brand name with a drop down front, and it is perfect for 2K'ing. I've drilled holes in the side and added some vents to allow everything to off gas without allowing dust to go in. You can see it on the side there. And we've got our Iwata CR Revolution airbrush. This is a 0.5mm airbrush powered by my Sil air compressor. We're going to be spraying about 18 psi, and I'm going to show you how to mix the 2K now. So follow these safety guidelines. Keep your skin covered. Nitrile gloves are a must. A good spray booth, a good respirator with the highest protection filters you can get. I've got A2s in mine. Be in the room on your own. Have some ventilation. Have a window just cracked open. And leave the room once you're done. Don't be spraying this around pets or family members. So our 2K system is a 2-to-1 mix of Clearcoat to activator. So 2 parts clear to 1 part activator. I'm going to mix a bit more than needed here because I've got other things to clear coat at the same time. So for example, you would put 10 milliliters of Clearcoat in with 5 milliliters of activator. So 2 parts clear, 1 part activator. So 2 parts clear, 10 mil. 1 part activator, 5 milliliters. I'm using pipettes for this, and these again are medical grade pipettes. Do not use syringes because they have silicone in, which will contaminate the clear coat. So 2 parts clear, 1 part activator into our medicine cup there. Now, like I said, I am mixing a lot here because I've got other parts of another kit to 2K at the same time. And we're mixing this together with this pipette, and then we're going to throw the pipette away forever. Now, I have this black Perspex tire on the bench for a reason. I can see the markings on the side of the medicine cup, so I can see where I'm pouring. We've got our ProScale paint holder, which ideally holds the medicine cups as well, without them knocking over. And now, for the first couple of coats of paint, we're going to add 5% of that total mix in front of us of clear and activator in thinner. So if you've mixed 10 ml of clear and 5 ml of activator, that's 15 ml total. 5% of that is 0.75 milliliters. So that's what I will put in there. So with another fresh pipette, never mix these pipettes into other bottles, throw them away when they're used. We'll get 0.75 milliliters of thinner. Pop that in there, and then we'll mix that all together as well. So mix your clear and your activator together first, then put your thinner in and mix that as well. And again, when this is mixed, that pipette are thrown away forever, never to be used. And then strainer. Now, the activator, because it's an isocyanate based, it does dry, and you can get crusty bits around the rim. And as I always jokingly say, nobody wants crusty bits around the rim. So this is the only paint of ours I would recommend straining. Just in case you get any bits on the edge of the rim, fall in the paint, get rid of it with the strainer, and that way you're not getting any crusty bits on your model. So there's our Take 2K system mixed. The airbrush has been thoroughly cleaned after the last time we used 2K. This airbrush is solely used for 2K. This is my 2K brush. I find the 0.5mm more beneficial for spraying 2K, where our 2K will spray just fine through anything 0.2 and higher. So we're going to wet all the kitchen paper. Kitchen paper is freshly laid in here a few hours before I'm going to clear coat. We don't want to disturb any dust around the area, so I would recommend setting up your area. The idea of wetting this is anything that lands on the kitchen paper should stick to it and not get airborne again with the turbulent air from the airbrush. So we've loaded up our airbrush with 2K. Very important step, put the lid on. Test sprays, we are ready to go. Now you're going to have to do some parts management in the box to make sure you don't touch parts together or get any parts stuck to anything. And the reason I'm using the box is to keep the dust off everything. It's a very, very important step. We don't want dust getting all over the model, and we don't want crud and rubbish and debris getting in our clear coat. So first step is to go over it with the anti-static brush, and this will wipe off any dust that may have landed on there, and it is supposedly beneficial to stop future dust landing there, but with its anti-static capabilities. Whether that's true, I don't know, but it's a very nice soft brush. I'll then blow over the model with the air from the airbrush, a quick test spray, and in we go. So our 2K system calls for a semi-wet coat on the first coat, and then a further semi-wet coat on the second, and followed by a third and or fourth coat if required. So this is our original mix. This is only thinned 0.5%. And what we're trying to do is just get a nice even coat of 2K all over that body. Now, don't forget the wheel arches in and around the windows. You may need to angle the model at a different angle here, and it is important to have this securely mounted. So as you look inside, I have taped the model to the stand so it doesn't fall off. And if you are using one of these Tamiya stands, I would recommend gluing or screwing the two halves together. If you've got one, you'll know exactly what I mean, because it will have fell off at the most inopportune time, so that you don't risk damaging your model. So like I say, first coat is a nice, even, semi-wet coat all the way over the model. Now, we are following the previous edge of wet coat with the next one. See there, as I go over the top? So we're putting a wet edge on each paint pass. Now, I am also going on and off the air, as you'll see, occasionally. Not necessarily on the roof, I get that done in one go. You don't tend to get spits from 2K. It's normally pretty forgiving. But if in any doubt, go on and off the air as we were doing when we were painting the model earlier on. Now, I do this day in, day out. This is like second nature for me. I've done this many times. I know how nerve-wracking it can be. So just take your time. Make sure you get all those angles and recesses in around the lights, the bumpers, the grills, all those intakes, and just make sure you've got a nice, even coat all over. You're not going to get a perfect clear coat off this coat. We're just trying to get a nice even coat all over. Once you're happy, carefully put it in the box, slide it into the box out of the way, and grab your other parts. So we have other parts on here for another car as well. We just need to clear coat this rear spoiler and those two mirrors, and I'm going to do the other parts off camera as well. So this is the carbon spoiler we did in the previous video, and again, hit it with the anti-static brush. We're going to securely mount it with a 3M pad to a tongue depressor. You saw me just press it there and make sure it was well and truly on there. The worst thing you can do with anything 2K'd is drop it. It will stick like the proverbial poo to a blanket. It will ruin the part. You're going to have to strip it and start over. And I'll tell you now, the prospect of having to strip and recarbon that spoiler is not favourable. Now, we've got many angles on this spoiler to get, so you're going to have to angle it to get in the sides and underneath as well. But exactly the same as the body, we just want to get a nice semi-wet coat on there. Now, because that part's on there, be careful you don't knock it. And then we've got our wing mirrors as well. So same process with wing mirrors, just be aware with smaller parts, they do cover a lot faster. We don't want to flood the 2K on too much. We don't want to get any runs. So just take your time. Now, once these are painted, they're going to be popped back in that box for a flash off period between 3 to 5 minutes. In that time, the thinner will flash off, the 2K will go very, very tacky. And that will allow this next coat, on another wet coat, to stick to the model, reducing the risk of any runs significantly. This is how 2K works. So technically the first coat is a tack coat, although for our 2K it's a semi-wet coat. So exactly the same process before. We're not trying to get a perfect clear coat off this coat. We're just laying down another wet edge to wet edge clear coat evenly all over the body. Now, don't forget the bottom of the sills, the inner edge of those sills as well, because you're spraying on a different angle. And don't forget your wheel arches too. It's very, very easy to miss the wheel arches. Consistency is what we want here. Just nice and slow. Now, the reason I'm double gloved on that left hand, as you're spraying this, you're spraying that hand as well, which is why it's important to use nitrile gloves, because they are the most impervious to 2K. Now, that glove will start to get stickier and stickier the more 2K you get down. So I have found when putting the model in and out of the box, sometimes your thumb or finger will grip a hold of that stand and either spin it or pull it, and I've had it hit the side of the box. So at this point after this coat, I'm going to take that second glove off, throw it away, and put a fresh one on so my hand isn't really sticky. That will also prove beneficial at the end when you come to clean our brush, because I can take off the sticky glove to clean the airbrush and I'm left with a fresh glove underneath. Because trust me, when you've had these gloves on for a while and your hands get a bit sweaty, they're a nightmare to get on. So it's much easier to double glove now and take one off as you go. So this is an important step. Trust me, you won't believe how sticky 2K gets. It really does. And you'll start sticking to parts or sticking to this stand. And the amount of times I've accidentally spun it in that box, I've done it many times before now. Or you get stuck to the stands on these individual parts now, and they stick to your finger. I've very nearly dropped parts so many times. So just be careful. Like I said, at this stage, I will put a fresh glove on myself. So again, same on these parts, a nice semi-wet coat, just getting all the angles. As you can see, I'm angling it and spraying diagonally across, and then under there, and then under the back. Then we'll go in the back and side on each back piece as well. And there we go. That can go back in the box, and we'll do the mirrors. Now again, we're going to pop this in the box for about 90 seconds, and we're going to thin our 2K clear coat mix a little bit more. So what we're going to do is, once these are clear coated, we're going to pour back what's left in the airbrush cup into our existing medicine cup so we can measure it. We're going to pour that into a fresh cup so we can see the markings, so we can see exactly how much we've got, and we're going to thin whatever's in there 10% more. So there you go. There's the 2K out the airbrush. And yes, you are okay to leave the 2K in the airbrush where everything flashes off. It won't dry. So we pour that into there. We can read the markings on the side. So if you've got 10 milliliters left now, we want to thin this another 10%. So we'll add another milliliter of thinner. Now make sure you are picking up thinner, that it's not activator. Double check. Trust me, double check. Look, I'm having a look. Yeah, that's thinner. And using a clean pipette, we get a milliliter of clear, pop it in, and mix it together. Now, this will drastically thin the 2K. This will become a lot easier to spray, and it'll also self-level a lot more, which is why we are thinning it at this stage. We've already done the hard work of laying down our base wet coats. This will now help lay down the third top coat. Now, I've tried many different ways of spraying our 2K, and this is by far the best. I've tried many different concoctions and ratios. This is the best way. First 2 wet coats with a 5% mix, and the last third, maybe fourth, you might need a little bit more at the end, thinned a further 10%. Trust me, it'll spray a lot better, it'll come out a lot faster, and it will self-level like an absolute dream. So for this last coat, I brought the airbrush a little bit further away, so we've got a wider pattern, and I'm laying it down just a little bit thicker, but moving the airbrush a little bit quicker. Again, getting all those wheel arch tops, the sills at the bottom, inside the inner wheel arches, and we're just going to go around the entire model. And again, we're not trying to get a perfect clear coat here. We're just laying down a nice wet coat again. Now, one thing to remember with 2K is how this is left after you 2K is how it's going to dry. So if you have imperfections or ripples or orange peel, it's going to dry with that in. This is your chance to get rid of it. Our 2K, and I'm not just saying it because it's ours, is the most forgiving 2K I have ever used. It is really forgiving to use. So don't be afraid to put a little bit more 2K down. So I'm going to go around this with our third wet coat of our extra thinned, our more thinned mix. And it will be a near perfect clear coat. And I'll put it back in the box while I clear coat the spoiler and the mirrors, and it'll level out absolutely beautiful. And that's when I'll pull it out for one last look. And if I can see anything I'm not even remotely happy with, I will give it another go over. You can push this further than you think. You really can. And our 2K dries one of the thinnest I've seen after it dries. And once it's polished up, flattened back and polished, it looks absolutely phenomenal. So same again on the spoiler. Again, remember you painted smaller parts. They are very easy to overcover. So don't dwell too long. And again, getting all those angles inside, underneath, in the back of the veins, everywhere. Until we get a nice coat. And again, just a quick look. We'll pop that down. And again, be careful because your glove will be getting sticky. That's a fresh glove on their hand, so I know it's not that sticky. Same for the mirrors. Meanwhile, the body in the box is self-leveling for us. we can take it out for one final look. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to angle it towards my light, and I'm looking for any imperfections in any area of that 2K. Now if I can see a little bit of orange peel, if it doesn't look like glass, it's going to get another little pass like that of 2K. And what I'll do, put another coat down, it'll self-level and level out and look absolutely flawless. This is the stage where it's going to save you a lot of time later on sanding and polishing, because you will get a near perfect clear coat if you follow my steps. Don't be afraid to put a little tiny bit more down to get rid of any imperfections. Trust me, it will look a million times better if you do this now rather than later. And don't be afraid to push it. Like I say, I see so many people using clear coats, not just mine, but others, and they just haven't pushed the clear coat enough, and the clear is just not as good as it could be. This is the stage now where you can fix that, and as you can see, angling everything towards the light. The light is your friend here. I've got a massive amount of light in that spray booth, and I can see everything crystal clear. And you can see I'm just angle it nice and slowly through the beam of light, looking for any imperfections. And if I'm not happy, we'll just give it another light pass over. That side just needs a touch more. It looks like loads is going down. It's not. Most of it is missing the model. There's really not a huge amount. If I'm not happy, it'll just get another very light pass over. Like so. Like I say, the self-leveling properties of 2K are unbeatable. Nothing will beat this finish out of the airbrush. And in my opinion, nothing beats it once it's sanded back and polished as well. It's absolutely flawless. So after letting it self-level, I just wasn't quite happy, and I thought it just needs another light coat over. So again, bit of distance back from the model, quick passes, we just get a little bit more medium down, and that'll be it. Absolutely flawless, and one of my best 2K jobs to date. I've got a video of this outside. It looks absolutely beautiful. While we're there as well, we'll take out the spoiler and have a quick look at that too. That goes back in there. Now be careful you don't catch that body on anything. The lid, the door, spin it round actually against the side, because this is where you're going to ruin all your hard work. Spoiler's looking pretty good. Again, using the lighter angle. A little bit there on that side, it just needed. On that side. There we go. Like I say, don't be afraid to put more down. Really don't. There is no limit on the amount of coat you do, just till you're happy. And like I say, thinning that extra 10% at the end makes a big difference. It really does change how the 2K lays down. Mirrors, yeah, looking good. Very nice. The carbon looks great once it's 2K'd. It really does come alive. And there we go. So that'll be placed in the box now and left for 3 to 4 hours, and it'll be touch dry. You can handle it if you want, and it'll be sandable in 3 to 4 days. No problem at all. I tend to leave about a week. I give the airbrush a quick clean, very quick clean, and then I'll take the car out one last time just to check for any imperfections before we put everything away. And once I'm happy, we'll pop it back in the box. Okay, so about 3 to 4 hours later, I've temporarily put the spoiler back on, and we're outside, and just look at that. Absolutely beautiful clear coat. As I say, nothing will beat 2K out the airbrush. Absolutely almost flawless. In fact, there's no dust in it either. I don't think there's even a speck of dust in this. Absolutely flawless 2K. It looks absolutely beautiful. The decals look great. The carbon looks great, and it just shows you how good the Pro Scale 2K is. So this is going to be left now, and we'll be back soon for part 8. We're going to make a start on the chassis and running gear. So I will see you all soon. Thank you all for joining us. Make sure you leave a comment down below, give the video a thumbs up, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you want early access to all these videos, have a look in the description down below. There's links to my Patreon, and there's links to everything else. Pro Scales down there. You can get our 2K from there, and all our other products as well. So thanks for watching today. Catch you all next time. Take care. Bye bye.